guys, it's Reina and today we are going to be learning about another aspect of English grammar that may seem difficult at first glance but truly isn't. Finite and non-finite verbs. Now we see verbs everywhere, in every sentence and in so many different forms. Now, finite and non-finite are nothing more than terms that are used to categorize these different verbs. Now that that's out of the way, let's begin. Finite verbs. Now, finite verbs are nothing more than the conjugated verbs in a sentence. Now, what do I mean by conjugated? See, a conjugated verb is the verb in a sentence that changes according to time and according to the subject of the sentence. So, let's take an example. Say, I go to the park. Here, I will very confidently say that go is a finite verb. Let's prove this. Now, if I change the subject in the sentence to he, so he goes to the park, the verb go changes to goes. Now, let's change my sentence, which is in present tense, to past tense. I went to the park. Here, go has changed to went. Now, because it changes according to time and subject, we know that it's a conjugated verb and so directly falls under the category of finite verbs. Some other examples are, they visit their parents. Here, visit is a finite verb. He goes to school. Goes is the finite verb. Michael plays games. Plays is the finite verb. Now let's talk about non-finite verbs. Non-finite verbs are nothing more than the verbs in a sentence which are not conjugated. Now under this category there are three different types of verbs. The infinitive form of the verb, the past participle or the V3 form of a verb, and gerunds. Let's talk about the infinitive form of the verb first because that is the easiest. Now in a sentence, if you see a set of verbs which starts like this, to and then the verb. So for example, to go, to buy, to play. Things like that are called the infinitive form of the verb because they are in a sense the base of the actual conjugated verb. Now, how do we prove that the infinitive form of a verb is non-finite? We can put the same test we did in the finite verb. Remember how we changed the time and subject? Let's do that again. Let's take an example sentence. I go to buy groceries. Now, if we change the subject here to he goes to buy groceries. Here the verb go has changed to goes, but to buy has remained the same. Now you might think this is a trick. What if we change the tense instead? Maybe to past? So, he went to buy groceries. Once again, while the verb goes changed to went, to buy did not change, and so we can say that infinitive form of verbs are non-finite. Now let's talk about the second one. Past participle or V3 forms of verbs. Now, when we first learn English or when we first learn about verbs, we learn that there are three main forms of a verb. The V1 form or the present tense form of a verb, the past or the V2 form of a verb, and then the V3 form of the verb or the past participle. Now, unfortunately for you guys, there is no set pattern for past participle verbs. You will only understand what they are through practice and through by hearting these verbs. So, let's take an example of the verb sing. I'll say it like this. V1, V2 and then V3. So, it will become sing, sang and sung. So, sung is a past participle form. In a sentence, I can say, I have sung songs before. Now, let's put this to the same test we put the infinitive and the finite verbs through. Let's change the subject. He has sung songs before. Now, I do believe I changed the sentence a little bit, but excluding that, we see that the first verb, which is have, has changed to has. But the past participle sung has not changed. We can't exactly change the tense except to past, so we'll do that. He had sung songs before. Here again, has changed to had, but sung has not changed. So here we can prove that the past participle form or the V3 form of a verb does not change, and so is a non-finite verb. Now the last one is gerund. What is a gerund, you may ask? A gerund is the ing form of a verb which acts like a noun. And because it acts like a noun, it has the same functions as one. Two major functions of nouns are acting as the subject of a sentence and acting as a direct object of a sentence. Let's explore both. When a gerund is acting as the subject of a sentence, we get sentences like this. Writing is my favorite hobby. Sleeping is a great pastime. Here we are not talking about actually writing or actually sleeping. No, we are talking about the action of writing, the action of sleeping. So the other usage is direct object. Now see, a direct object is essentially what the verb is talking about. If we take a sentence, I like sleeping, and we simply take I like, right? Now the immediate question is what? What do you like? So the answer that fills that little gap, that I like what, the answer that fills that the space of what is called the direct object. In most cases, the direct object is usually a noun or a gerund. So when we say I like sleeping, sleeping here is the gerund and is the direct object of the sentence. Now let's put this to the same test we put all the others before. Let's change the time and subject. Now let's take the same sentence, I like sleeping. Now if we change the subject to she, it becomes she likes sleeping. Like has changed to likes, and so it is a finite verb. But sleeping has not changed. Let's do this again. Let's change the time, or let's change the tense. Let's change it to past. She liked sleeping. That's actually a very weird sentence because who doesn't like sleeping? But she likes sleeping. Likes has changed to liked, but sleeping has remained the same. And so we can say that it is a non-finite verb. Now why has this not changed? A very simple example is that, see, nouns in sentences do not change if you change the time or if you change the subject. Nouns say exactly the same. And this is why gerunds are also coming under the category of non-finite verbs. And that's it. See, it's not really hard. If you understand what an infinitive form of verb is, or if you understand what a conjugated form is, or if you actually know what gerunds or past participles are, it is very easy to simply classify them into the two different groups, finite and non-finite. So, well, of course, if you look at it the first time, you may think it's a bit hard, but it's really not. So thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have actually understood something from my video and you guys have actually enjoyed my video. So once again, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.